Jason Dominguez.
Won't bring him up unless someone, well, Stanton just got hurt recently.
Yeah, the outfield is pretty well set.
We'll probably wait till.
Good evening. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order, please. I'd like to remind everybody that we do have a sound system, and please turn off all your cell phones and other electronic devices, and if you have any private conversations, take them in the hallway for us. It's equipped with an inductive loop hearing assistance system, so you'll be able to hear conversations through the microphone. If you can't hear anybody up here or at the podium, raise your hand. We'll make sure that that's working properly. Also, there's emergency exits can be found to your right and left. And also, this meeting is live streamed via YouTube with text commenting available as well. If everyone please rise and join me in a salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We do not have a public hearing tonight. I just have a couple of announcements. We've got our July birthdays to announce. First, on the 2nd, will be a happy birthday to Susie Mandrino. Saturday, the 6th, is a happy birthday to Craig Cummings. On the 18th, it will be John DeCook's birthday. There is no recycling on the 18th, so you won't be able to wish him a happy birthday on that Thursday. On the 20th is Eric Link. And on the 28th, rounding out the month, is our treasurer, Rich O'Donnell. So enjoy those birthdays in July. And I also want to announce that Supervisor Marin and Town Clerk Karen Bodine are necessarily absent tonight, and we have Deputy Town Clerk Kim in for us tonight, taking minutes for our meeting. First order of business would be to approve the minutes from our May 28th regular town board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then our June 10th, we had our pay bills only town board meeting.
And I'll abstain from that as I was absent.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for that as well.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. We have a manifest number 12, and I'll ask Kim to introduce that, please.
Manifest number 12 in the amount of $562,840.14 has been reviewed by the Victortown Board with the following accounts charged: General Townwide, General Outside Village, Parkland Trust Fund, Highway Townwide, Consolidated Sewer Fund, and Trust and Agency.
Thank you. As you can see up on the screen, we with full disclosure, we try to show some of our expenditures that are in the range of or exceed $5,000. You'll see a few on here tonight for the dog park, which I'll take a minute to announce. So we have a grand opening on Saturday morning from 10 to 12. Hope you'll attend. We got a lot of things going on up there. Anyway, Bears Playground material for the dog parks, $9,930. Bluestone Creek, which is our July rent, of $11,562.50. Heidelberg Materials for the road projects. People are, things are going well, Mark, because people are complaining they can't find a road that's not being stoned or tarred, so that's good news. $8,638.88. Harris Beach made legal services of $35,942, chargebacks of $18,526. Cost of the town is $17,416. Integrated Systems for our July hosting and software renewals of $9,369.66. LaBelle Associates services for May of $25,451.25, of which charged back to developers was $7,393.75. The cost of the town was $18,057.50. Lincoln Financial, June and July dental of $9,226.70. The MVP Health is $223,176.60. You'll notice that's for 3 months, May, June, and July. Mutual of Omaha June and July disability insurance of $5,905.58. Northern Nurseries landscaping materials for the dog park, $13,953.40. The New York State fence for the dog park, $131,503.75. And Pooler Enterprise finishing up the cement work for the dog park of $21,668.74. So all those things are coming into completion as we speak. So the total above-mentioned expenditures is $496,399.06. The total town expenditures minus those big-ticket items equals $66,441.08. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Tonight, we are privileged to have privilege of the floor, our director of the Victor Farmington Library, who will discuss our upcoming library budget vote.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay. So first of all, thanks for letting me speak tonight. I'm Tim Niver. I'm the director of the Victor Farmington Library, and I wanted to let everyone know about an upcoming budget vote that we're having for the library for the 2025 calendar year. The vote is held this Thursday, June 27th, from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Village Hall in Victor. So that's 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., Victor Village Hall. What we're asking for, the proposal is an extra $73,000 and change for the operational budget for the 2025 year. This is for entirely for operational costs only. We're not doing anything else with the money. We're not proposing a new library. We're not proposing an addition. It's strictly for operations. We've been up against it with inflation, minimum wage increase, and we're looking at improving some staffing needs as well. But that increase comes out to, for a $300,000 home, about $7 more a year. We figure it's about 2 cents per $1,000 of assessed value. So we aren't going out for anything big. It's very small. I do want to address something that I just heard recently. The Village Hall is holding our vote for us. All public libraries are fall under the Department of Education. State Ed Law 259 says the school is required to hold our vote for us, collect our funds for us, and then give us the money. That's the only connection we have with the school. They determine when and where the vote is going to be. That's not up to the library. We have a great working relationship with the school and Tim Terranova and Maureen Goodburlett. They let us know when the vote is going to be, where it's going to be, what time, all that stuff. And I say thank you very much for helping us out. So that's when the vote is, and that's where it is, and that's the reason why that vote is there. Again, it's a small increase for operations. There's been a lot of misunderstanding out on social media, if you've seen any of that. They're stating that the library has $200,000 of surplus of profit from the 22 year and the 23 year. We did have in 23 $200,000 of surplus money. We had the 22 vote for the new library proposal. That failed, right? But in order to get to that point, we had to build in extra money to move, if the vote did pass, to move forward with architect drawings, construction costs. The vote didn't pass. We took that $200,000 and we reinvested it in the library. We renovated one whole side of the library. Our large meeting room, we got to the public bathrooms, the kitchen area, the hallway. It's all redone and improved. That's where that money went. That went back into the library. We have a 30-year-old building now, and it's going to need maintenance. It's going to need upkeep. We have to be good stewards of the building and the taxpayers' money. This is where we're at. There's a misunderstanding, too, that $200,000, we're stacking it up in reserve funds. We have $154,000 in reserve funds. Reserve funds are set up into 3 different accounts, plus an endowment. An endowment was given to the library 30-plus years or so ago. That's not taxpayer funded. There's $30,000 in that taxpayer fund. We also have a capital improvement fund. That money is strictly fundraising money and grants. There's no taxpayer funds in there, too. So there's $71,000 in change in that fund. So you take the $71,000 in that fund, and then the $30,000 in the endowment, there's over $100,000 in reserve funds that were not taxpayer funded. So I think we're really doing a good job of being good stewards of taxpayer dollars and the library building. So we can't take those reserve funds and we can't put that towards operations. I think you guys probably all have, you probably have some reserve funds here with the town too. You can't take that out once it's into a designated reserve fund. You can't take that out and pay for operations. That's not how that works. So we're going to leave that there, and that's for maintenance of the building, and maybe somewhere down the line, exploring renovations for the rest of the library as well. So I think we've done a really good job. The board has done a tremendous job of creating these buckets of reserve fund money and putting the right amount of money into each one as necessary. So we're being transparent. All this information is on our website, victorfarmingtonlibrary.org. I tried to get that name shortened up to VFL.org, but they would sell it to us for $50,000.
All right.
So we said we'll keep it at victorfarmingtonlibrary.org. Go to our website. Right at the top, there's a link for more vote information on there, and it's got a breakdown of the costs. Like I said, $7 more a year for a $300,000 house. And lots of FAQs on there, links to our proposed 25 budget. There's 24 budget up there, 23 budget, our reserve fund policy, all our other policies. It's all up there for anyone who wants to take a look. If this vote does not pass, we are up against it. We proposed 25 budget without this increase, we will now be in a deficit. And what's going to end up happening is we're going to have to cut library hours. We're going to have to cut the book budget. We might have to cut programs and events at there as well too, so we can stay under our income. So I don't want to do that. No one wants to do that. That's not an ultimatum. That's not a threat. That's just kind of an unpleasant fact that we're dealing with right now and where we're at. You know, I have a letter on my desk saying, and this is just one small example. I have a letter on my desk saying that health insurance is going to go up 25% next year for the library. And we've all seen similar situations. And that's just one small part of our entire budget. It's not the entire budget. That's not solely why we're asking for an increase, is to fund the employees' health insurance. And there's a bigger picture in all of that. That's just one small part. So that's where we're at. I do want to say, too, the library is well-loved, well-used. Last year, we saw 83,000 people walk through the door. It's up about 60% since COVID, since 2020. We're continually seeing an increase year after year. That's 83,000 people coming into the village that might go to Fire on Main afterwards, or maybe stop and get some ice cream, or stop at the shops on Main Street and shop and visit, frequent the village. We circulated over 200,000 items last year in the library. We're part of the OWL library system, 42 libraries in that OWL system. We're the highest circulating library in all the 42 libraries. So I'm proud to say that. That's an accomplishment that we keep striving to do better at and increase those numbers every year. We had almost 3,200 people come in and use public computers last year. That's people that don't have access to internet, that don't have maybe a printer at home, or lost internet, or if their computer's down, they can come in, use the computer, whatever their need for. We got a lot of people coming in looking for jobs, printing information out, printing forms out. The library is well used, and we're getting up to now summer reading. Starts next week. School's out this week, today maybe?
Today's the last day for kids.
Okay, yeah. Next week starts our summer reading program. It's going to last for 6 weeks. Our gate count is going to go from, we see about 300 people a day, it's going to go to 400 to 500 people a day in just a couple of days. We're just going to see people using this library over and over and over again. I would hate for the community to have to lose some of that resource because of some of the misinformation that's out there.
Tim, my kids, obviously, you see my family in there. My kids are 3 and 6. That we are frequent users of that library system. My kids absolutely love going there, and I appreciate what you guys are doing down there.
We're
And
trying our
when's the
best.
vote again?
It's June 27th, this Thursday,
Okay.
12 to 8 p.m. at the Village Hall. Yeah.
Tim, you said the school runs the library vote and sets it. If they're the ones who run it and set it, do they pay for the election inspectors?
They do.
Or do you have to pay for it?
They pay for the election, yeah. So in the past, the last few years, the vote has been held at the same time as the school. A few years before that, we first became a taxing authority in 2014, and roughly the first couple of years, the vote was actually held in the library at a different time and location than the school vote. Then the school decided to put us together, and we held the vote at the same time, location up at the school. And then 2 years ago, when we had the very contentious vote, I know you guys probably took some heat for that one too, unnecessarily. The school took some heat for that as well. I think they tried to separate us out and set us up at a separate time and date to make sure that they didn't run into any troubles. So we're separated this year. If all goes well, you know, maybe the school will reconsider putting us back together under the same date and time and location.
You did tell Dr. Terranova it was only 2 to 3 cents, though, right?
I did. Yeah. So that's traditionally been together, but doesn't have to be.
Does it have to be during like a certain time? Because the school vote was what?
May
Last
21st
month?
or something? Yeah. So there's a window. I don't know what that window is,
Okay.
but definitely there is a window for that. Yeah. They're within that window.
And then when do you have your budget set by and finished?
It'll be board approved by December
Oh,
of each
okay.
year. Yeah. So it's weird, right? So our budget year goes from January to December, but the vote for the next year's budget happens May or June.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you gotta
that's-
think out ahead. Yeah.
Bridge.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Tim. Good luck on Thursday.
Thank you.
At this time, we will have some public comment. If anybody would like to speak or bring any concerns before the town board, now would be the time to do that.
Good evening, everybody. Mitch Donovan, 289 School Street. Victor, Vice President of the Victor Farmington Library Board of Trustees. But I'm not here as a board member. I'm here as a concerned citizen who read some disturbing information about the library budget for 2025 on social media. It appeared that the library was overtaxing my household and reaping a huge profit from my tax dollars. Rather than argue back and forth on social media, I went to an informational session at the library. Here, the general public had a chance to ask questions and become comfortable with the budget. Our Rochester-based accounting firm that audits the library for compliance every year answered questions and explained the importance of having funds available for anticipated and unanticipated expenses that a 30-year-old building will require. Exaggerated claims made on social media were totally debunked and discredited at this informational session. The same forces are attacking the village, the town, and the school district because taxes are involved. I'm hoping we can find ways of working together to provide facts to combat misinformation. Questions?
No, I thank you for those comments, Mitch, because I think it's something that all municipalities are dealing with. A little bit of information can lead to a lot of misinformation. And you see it time and time again, not only personally, professionally, socially, right? We're finding out that, Facebook is not real, right? So, I mean, and I say that in jest, but I think everybody wrestles with that. And I think it's up to us as elected officials or folks that are working for the municipalities. It certainly is up to us to try to continue to get out the word. And, Susie is constantly posting things on our website, and Brian is diligent with Parks and Rec of getting information out there and the things that we provide. And Mark does the same thing for the highway. And it's, sometimes it's an uphill battle. And if somebody gets an audience, that can lead to a lot of mistrust and stuff like that. So we just continue to, fight the fight and, put the information out there that's accurate. like you guys are doing tonight, and like you did in your, anybody goes on your website, it's really clear, it's really easy to read, it's self-explanatory. And I think that we just continue to do that as a community, and, you know, fighting on social media is a no-win situation. And I think that's why you don't ever see anybody at this table ever engage.
Yep.
We don't ever go to try to respond, you know, and frankly, we try to stay away from a lot of it. You know, Susie will keep us up to date on some of those things, but, you know, it's a no-win situation when you're trying to do it and engage, because it's very easy to sit here and do this and send and all of that. And, you know, society in general, it's very difficult for some people to pick up a phone and call and have a conversation or come and talk to people, so.
Well, when the library budget came out on our newsletter, somebody got on Next Door Neighbor and asked where the new library had been built.
Right. Yeah,
You know?
right, right. Feel your pain, we feel your pain.
Yeah, I'm chairing the communication committee, and we don't do social media. We promote events and we do logical awareness sort of initiatives, but we're not going to get on there and start an argument. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's why we held the in-person information session at the library, sparsely attended. I think we beat you guys. But, you know, and therein lies some of the problem too. Public engagement, commitment. This is a community, and we need to work together. If you're a taxing authority, I understand, considering the fact that death and taxes are mentioned so often in the same sentence, I understand the morbid nature of both, but it's a fact of life. And we heard a lot about nobody uses libraries anymore. You heard Tim's numbers. Nobody uses libraries anymore because of the internet. Well, it just isn't the case, fortunately for us. Tim does a heck of a job, but we have a board of directors that are dedicated, talented, and skilled, and audited. So thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other member of the public have some comments?
Hello, my name is Jim Myers, 5 Medford Way, Victor. I'm the past president of the Board of Trustees for the library. Had the misfortune to be there when the vote went down, but the public speaks and nothing you can do about it. They don't want a new 24,000. The original library where we are now was supposed to be 14,000. It was cut back to 9. That was 1996. So a couple of things I want to talk about, though, that reinforce, if you will. I'm a retired CFO. I retired from St. John's Home. We were doing $60, $70 million for corporations. I understand balance sheets, income statements. I think part of the problem with the public is they don't understand the difference between operating funds and capital funds. And I wish they would read a basic accounting book, they would find out the difference. We were fortunate enough to get a fair number of contributions. You don't use contributions for operating budget. You'd never go use that. That's a road down to nowhere. It's not a good road if you start subsidizing operations with contributions. And the last thing I want to say is a misunderstanding of a 12/31 balance sheet for this library. As Tim has noted, the library votes this Thursday, the 28th. If that gets passed, whatever amount is in there, the school will collect through their vouchers. They will collect it, and they generally give it over to the entire amount, and it's been $839,000 and change for the last 3-4 years. And they give the library a check, and either, usually from mid-November to mid-December. That goes on the balance sheet. So when you look at the balance sheet at 12/31, we will have over $1 million on it. And people think we're rich. No, we're not rich, we're fortunate. Because what happens is the $839,000 is for the next year. So unlike normal for-profits and some nonprofits, we get the money ahead of time. But then everybody looks at that and they go, oh, they're rich. They're not. We're fortunate, and there's a difference. The other thing I want to say is, since I've been on the board, the library, and so after I've been on the board, the library is audited by Bonadeo. Complete audit statements with a comment of whether they believe that it's good or not. So I think you need to start reading balance sheets, income statements, and the footnotes would be very helpful. I just want to thank you for your time. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else like to speak to the board? Okay. In your packets, you've got your reports from Finance, Highway, Babette, IT, Parks and Rec, and Supervisor didn't have anything in there. I don't know if anybody had any questions or any comments, or anybody wanted to report on any of the committees that they're sitting on, and any news or any updates?
I attended the village board meeting last week, and at their next board meeting, this coming Monday, July 1st, they're going to be holding a public hearing for a smoke shop moratorium. They've had a lot of complaints about smoke shops in the village who are illegally selling cannabis, not in their, current licensing structure, et cetera. I believe Trustee McAdoo said that he does not support it. One of their deputy mayor, Crowley, was not at the meeting. He didn't say anything, so don't know what he felt about it. It sounded like the mayor was kind of in favor of it, and I don't know about Carol or Michelle. But if anyone would like to attend or let anyone know to attend, they'll be having that public hearing this coming Monday, July 1st at 7 o'clock. Other than that, I got nothing.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Drew?
Two quick things. Just a reminder, this Saturday, 10 a.m. over at Harlan Fisher Park for the grand opening of the dog park. That should be a nice event, and we'll certainly have representatives from Parks and Rec, the people that work to develop it, a lot of our town staff, elected officials. It should be a nice event. So I hope you can join us for that if you're available. And then just a quick note, I wanted to make mention of kind of something I heard in an earlier meeting today, which I thought was nice, and commend your staff, and particularly Steve Hendrickson, related to last Tuesday and Thursday for the heat. The school closed up for the younger kids at noon, Tuesday and Thursday on short notice. Phone calls are being received by Parks and Rec, and with a very short notice, they were able to put together the accommodations for 15 to 20 kids to be able to come over there for the afternoon. So certainly a tremendous asset, that along with all of the other programming that goes around the year there. So Brian, thank you, and your staff, and particularly Coach Steve. Thanks.
Yeah, I will be attending the dog park celebration on Saturday. I will not be bringing Shelby, though. I don't know if she's ready for a big crowd, so I'll leave her at home.
I'll be there. I'll be bringing Patch, my dog. I already got his tag, $30.
There
You
you
can
go.
go to the town clerk's office.
I won't be able to attend, but if you want to pick up Otis and take him with you.
Yeah,
you're welcome
exactly.
to.
I don't know, Patch and Otis, that might be a lot for me.
All right. Are we good to move on? Let's go on to the resolution portion of our meeting. We'll start off with resolution number 1 under Parks and Rec. We got an agreement for Mr. Heartache, Scott McNitt.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Resolution number 2 is a request for liability waiver for him as well.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Resolution number 3, this.
You gotta vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Good. All opposed? Good. Resolution number 3, with a little bit of research, Alexa came up with this resolution. She's going to talk about it in a minute, but basically it says that we don't have to host. If you look at the resolution and read through it, and the law clearly states that if we don't have anybody in our town that's eligible to vote in the primary, we don't need to host the early election for primary voting. And it was extremely confusing for some of our residents. You see the sign, vote here, they would come in, oh, you're from Victor? No, you can't vote. So it was very confusing. But Alexa, if you want to add a little bit to that?
Sure. So like the deputy supervisor said, this idea kind of came to me when, we announced that we were going to be having the early voting site here in Victor, as we have for every single election since early voting was enacted in New York. And I had, unfortunately been telling people, hey, there's going to be an early voting site, but if you live in Victor, yeah, you're not eligible to vote. Yes, it is at Town Hall. And I think it was when I was at one of the planning board meetings and I had all of the planning board members looking at me like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? Is when I was like, you know what, I know that New York State can sometimes be a little antiquated in their laws, but there's got to be, something in the law that addresses our situation. And when I looked into it further, there is a subsection that addresses our situation. So the law does state currently that the largest city in the county or the largest municipality with the highest population be a host to an early voting site. That's why Victor's been one for so long. However, if for any sort of special primary or runoff primary election, if none of the voters in that municipality are eligible to vote, they do not have to be host to a early voting site. They can move that into the municipality that is the largest within the county that has a primary election. So in this case, right now we're represented by Congresswoman Claudia Tenney in New York's 24th Congressional District. Come next year, we will not be in that district. We will be in what is now represented by Congressman Morelli out of Rochester. And so Victor and half of the town of East Bloomfield are the only two areas in Ontario County that are not in the 24th Congressional District and are then with 25 with Congressman Morelli. And we are the largest town in the county. That's why we've been hosting one. And because obviously we're not in the 24th Congressional District, had a Republican primary this year. We didn't have one for the 25th Congressional District, Republican or Democrat primary. So no Victor voters were eligible to vote. Like the deputy supervisor said, this was extremely confusing for voters. People were coming in trying to vote. They saw the sign, came in to get their dog park pass, came in to go get a building permit, tried to vote, were turned away. And when they're paying the taxes here in the town and they see kind of this happening and you're paying your county taxes too, I think it was truly a waste or a poor use of taxpayer dollars. There were 323 voters that voted in all early voting sites in Ontario County. There's 3, one in Victor, one in Geneva, and one in Canandaigua. And of the 233 early votes, only 32 of them were here in Victor. So I'm hopeful that the Board of Elections sees this resolution, and the next time this happens, they do not host one here. Sorry to go on
Entertain
for
a
so
motion?
long. First.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution number 4 is for Highland Park. It's Phase 1. It's a letter of credit release.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And resolution number 5 is the approval of the acquisition of an easement by Monroe County Water Authority pursuant to New York Public Authority Law for 127 Blazy Road and 805 County Road 42.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Well, that concludes the business portion. Then we now have one more chance for public comment. If anybody has anything they'd like to add to this meeting tonight? Suzie, anything online? No comment online. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.